The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the storyline is about to take a shocking and emotionally intense turn involving Claire, Holden, and Audra, as secrets, panic, and hidden agendas begin to clash in Genoa City. It all begins when Claire sparks panic, literally and emotionally. After weeks of trying to appear calm and grounded following her rehabilitation and her attempt to rebuild a normal life, Claire finds herself overwhelmed once again. Something, or more precisely someone, triggers her emotional instability, and that someone is tied to Holden's growing web of deception. Claire has been trying to prove to everyone, especially Victoria and Nikki, that she's capable of living freely without the shadow of Jordan or her dark past haunting her. But deep down, she's been struggling to find her footing, and the re-emergence of Holden in her life complicates everything. Holden had entered Claire's orbit when she least expected it. Their connection seemed warm and protective at first, but his motives have always been somewhat suspicious. He's charming and supportive, yet a little too interested in Claire's background. Recently, Holden started receiving mysterious messages from someone connected to Los Angeles, and this is where Audra Charles comes in. Audra's sudden trip to Los Angeles isn't just business. She's working on something big and dangerous, and she doesn't want anyone in Genoa City to know she's there. In fact, Holden is one of the few people who knows the truth, that Audra arrived in LA quietly, under the radar, to meet someone powerful. The problem is, Audra's secret could destroy both her professional ambitions and her personal relationships if it gets out. So Holden steps in to hide it from everyone, especially Claire. Holden is keeping Audra's arrival hidden for a reason that isn't purely about protecting her. There's an emotional connection between them, one that's been simmering under the surface. He's been covering for her while pretending to be Claire's confidant, and this dual loyalty is about to explode in his face. Claire senses that Holden isn't being honest with her. His behavior has changed, he's distracted, anxious, and constantly checking his phone. When she presses him for answers, he deflects, which only feeds her insecurity and panic. As Claire's anxiety rises, she begins to spiral. She feels cornered and starts believing that she's being lied to again, that someone is keeping secrets from her the way Jordan once did. Her panic attack in the middle of the Newman ranch stuns everyone, especially Victoria, who worries that Claire might be regressing. The sight of her daughter trembling, gasping for breath, and crying that, "They're lying to me again," cuts Victoria deeply. She tries to calm Claire down, but Claire's mind is racing. She becomes convinced Holden is hiding something dangerous. Meanwhile, Holden scrambles to contain the fallout. He's terrified that if Claire finds out about Audra's secret Los Angeles arrival, it'll destroy whatever trust she still has in him. Worse, it might expose his own connection to Audra's covert business dealings. It turns out that Holden helped Audra set up her quiet LA trip so she could meet a major investor for Glissade, a man Audra doesn't want Tucker or Kyle to know she's negotiating with. When Victor Newman gets wind that Audra might be scheming again in Los Angeles, he quietly orders one of his investigators to check it out. That's when things take a darker turn. Holden starts getting nervous messages warning him to keep Claire under control, and don't let Newman catch wind. Those messages suggest that Audra's business in LA might not be legitimate, and Holden could be deeply involved. So as Claire's panic escalates and she begins to question everyone around her, Holden's lies start to collapse. The emotional centerpiece of this storyline becomes Claire's fragile trust. She's finally rebuilding her sense of safety and identity, but once again she's surrounded by people who manipulate the truth. Victoria, in desperation to help her daughter, turns to Nick and Nikki for advice. They urge her to keep Claire grounded and away from anyone who might be emotionally triggering her, especially Holden. But Claire refuses to listen. She's determined to find out what Holden is hiding. Eventually, she stumbles upon evidence. A hidden photo on Holden's phone showing him in Los Angeles just days earlier, meeting with none other than Audra Charles. The realization that Holden has been lying to her sends Claire into another spiral. She confronts him in an emotionally charged showdown where she demands to know if he's been using her all along. Holden, cornered and panicked, tries to explain that he was only protecting her from something bigger. But the truth may be far more dangerous than either of them realize. Audra's secret LA dealings could tie into something corporate, possibly connected to Newman Media or Glissade, and Holden is acting as her go-between. As these lies unravel, Claire's mental stability, Holden's reputation, and Audra's career all hang in the balance. In the coming episodes, expect to see Claire emotionally raw and unpredictable, Holden desperately juggling his two loyalties, and Audra manipulating events from the shadows.